Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about why focusing on the present moment drives real progress. And the reason why I really wanted to talk about this specific topic is because I feel like sometimes we worry and stress too much about the future, stress too much about things that haven't even happened. And this is not really serving us or helping us to make the progress that we want to make, specifically or especially with our fitness. So in today's call, I want to tell you why this is not serving you. And at the end of the call, I want to give you a few tips that you can take away and ensure that you start applying those tips to help you make the progress that you want to make. So if right now you're worrying about staying on track, especially on the weekends, that I know it can be very, very challenging. And this is something I used to struggle with for a long time. This is something that most, if not all of my clients struggle with before they join my program, early stages when they join my program, because the weekends is often that time of the week that we just feel like it's, we have like a free pass to eat anything. Like we do the work, but it's easy to do the work Monday to Friday. And then as soon as the weekend comes, we just want to eat anything, everything, or eat all the things that we couldn't eat during the week and just relax and chill. And then the cycle starts again and again. And then we feel guilty. And this doesn't really help us get the progress or make the progress that we want to make. Or maybe right now you're worrying about events that you have coming up, weddings, too many celebrations that you know there's going to be food around, and that only is making you feel very stressed and very anxious. Something I want to ask you is, how many times have you worried about something? It doesn't have to be related to fitness, but how many times have you worried about something that ended up being no big deal? For me, the answer is probably going to be plenty of times. And I still worry about things. I still overthink things. I feel like that's not really going to change too much because we're humans. We overthink all the time. But if we can do little things here and there to help us with that, then it gets a little bit better with time. The problem with worrying about the future, the problem with worrying about something that hasn't even happened, because we literally don't have control of the future at all, is that we create this unnecessary stress for ourselves because we're thinking, we're overthinking, and we're telling ourselves, or we are imagining the worst case scenario. So stress levels go up, your anxiety gets really, really, really high. And because of this, you're simply going to be more likely to make poor choices, to make choices that are not going to help you take those steps forward. And you're probably asking, like, why does this happen? Why, if I stress too much about the weekends, why am I going to be more likely to not take the right steps to help me with my fitness? The simple answer, it's because worrying about the future, the weekends, it's going to create this mental cycle that is going to be very, very, very hard to get out of. And when we have this mental cycle of, worrying and stressing about the thing that hasn't even happened, it can lead to a sense of defeat or maybe failure before that weekend even starts, before that event that you have coming up even starts. And you're already convincing yourself that you're going to fail. And you're already convincing yourself that nothing is going to work in your favor. You're going to eat everything that's in front of you. And then you're going to feel like shit. And then that mental cycle, it's going to be cycling nonstop. And we know that it's very hard to get out of that. When we worry about the weekends, when we worry about the future, when we worry about things that haven't even happened, remember our stress levels go very high. And this doesn't really help us too much. Like having a little bit of stress is normal. We want that. But when we have too much stress, these things can happen. Number one, we're going to have an emotional overload. And when this happens, your focus is going to be very, very narrow, which means that you won't be able to make mindful decisions with the food that you're having on the weekends, because that focus is going to be narrow and you're going to make choices more made by impulse rather than you taking your time and actually thinking about if this meal is going to be good for you or if this meal is not going to help you with your goals. Also, when stress levels are very high, your cravings are going to increase so much. That's why anytime you're stressed about work, family, relationships, stress levels are very high, right? And we tend to use food as our comfort. It makes us feel better. So when stress levels are high, cortisol is going to increase. So it's going to be easier for you to feel like you want to eat things here and there, even if you're not hungry, but cortisol levels are high and you want to feel like eating more things, more and more and more, Saturday, Sunday, Friday night. Also, when stress levels are high, your willpower is going to reduce and your mental energy is going to decrease. Again, this doesn't really help you to make mindful choices with your nutrition. And it's going to be this negative feedback loop every single weekend or even before the weekend starts, because you're constantly going to be thinking and worrying about the things that haven't even happened. So this is why worrying about the future, worrying about something that we cannot control, it's not serving you. Now, let me tell you why focusing on the present moment is key. Why focusing on the right now, it's important, and this is going to be the game changer, especially if you're someone who worries about the weekends a little bit too much. Something I want to tell you, or maybe remind you, is that the only moment that we have control over, it's now. Literally now. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 20 minutes. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. Even if I plan my weekend ahead of time, even if I plan my week ahead of time, life happens and there's always something happening. And that's why keeping things flexible always helps. But the only thing that we can control, it's now, nothing else. So what's something that you're going to do today that is going to shape your tomorrow? Or what's something that you can do today that is going to shape your tomorrow? And I'm going to show you this visual. If you are listening to the podcast, what I have in front of me, it's a little plant that we are planting, a little seed that we're planting. And this is pretty much describes your fitness journey. So at the early stages of your fitness journey, that's when we plant those seeds. And when we plant those seeds, if we want that plant to grow, if we want to get the fruit of the plant, we have to, one, be very patient. We have to look after the plant. We have to water the plant. We have to make sure that the plant has enough sunlight. We have to make sure that we're doing all the things that are necessary to help us with that. And we know that that plant, it's not going to grow overnight. With the example that we have here, the apple tree or the apple plant, this might take about, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks. If we plant in a tree, it's going to be about, I think, 5 to 10 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think roughly those times. But it takes time. It just doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes caring. It takes love, and it takes a lot of patience. And it's pretty much the exact same thing with your fitness journey. When you plant those seeds is when you start your fitness journey, when you make the commitment to yourself that I'm going to start with this because of X, Y, Z reason. Those are your reasons. Those are your whys you want to start with your fitness journey. And then with time, you're going to be building new habits, which is going to be the foundation to ensure that you make this lifestyle. You're going to be changing or replacing habits that are not serving you. And with time, love, and lots of patience, eventually you're going to get the fruit of your hard work. And the fruit of your hard work is going to be making fitness part of your lifestyle. Making fitness something that just comes easy to you, something that you feel like, I get to go to the gym, or you tell yourself, I get to go to the gym. I want to go to the gym. I want to prep my meals. I get to prep my meals. I'm so lucky to be able to prep my meals, to cook my meals, buy my groceries, have enough money, be able to walk to the gym, do the exercises, and everything just gets much better because you have built those habits and also values to help you make this part of your lifestyle. So focusing on the present moment, which is something I want you guys to try, especially for this weekend, it's going to make things easier for you to be more mindful with the choices that you are making. If you have a few events going on, and maybe before you were stressing about what am I going to order from the menu, how much am I going to have, what things am I going to eat, what things I should be eating, it's just going to get easier. And you're going to be able to be more mindful with those choices. Also, focusing on the present moment is going to help you to overthink less. And if we're overthinking less, we're going to be enjoying our food a little bit more, and we're not going to feel guilty. Because when we worry about the future and then our focus is narrow and we make those choices that are not helping us, Even if you're eating something that you like, you don't enjoy it. You only feel guilty. And I think this is something you guys can relate to. And this feeling of guilt, it's not very nice. And it doesn't allow you to not just enjoy the food, but also it doesn't allow you to enjoy the experience, because you're going to be constantly thinking about the choices that you made, and you're going to be constantly telling yourself, why did I pick that? Or why did I have that much? Why couldn't I stop myself? And that's only going to make you feel like a failure. And we don't want that. And also focusing on the present moment, it's going to help you build that confidence on yourself. And it's going to remind you that you can make it happen, just one step at a time. So here are some practical tips to help you embrace the now, to help you embrace the present moment and stop worrying about the future. So here are 4 things I want you to do. Number 1, anytime you find yourself thinking, stressing, worrying too much about the future, worrying too much about the weekend, worrying too much about those events that haven't even happened, and telling yourself, I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail, I want you to take a deep breath. I think this is something that we often forget to do, especially when those anxiety and stress levels are high. So just very nice and simple. Inhale and exhale. And you can do it with me right now. Inhale, exhale. Because sometimes just something as simple as taking a deep breath can really make you and help you relax a little bit more. And then if you relax a little bit more, you're going to be able to think better, be more mindful with the choices that you're making. Number 2, I want you to plan ahead for the weekend or for that event, but don't overthink. Think about planning like your GPS to help you get to the destination. But just because we have the GPS, it doesn't mean that the road is going to be nice and easy. There might be setbacks, there might be challenges, and that's okay. It's life. We cannot control that. But the thing that we can control is how we react to those setbacks, those challenges. And if we are feeling less stressed, less anxious, it's going to be easier to think very clear. And again, make choices that are going to help you stay on track with your fitness. Number 3, I want you to focus on your wins. I want you to focus on the little tiny progress that you're making. Even if it's something as simple as this weekend, I drank 2 liters of water. In the past, I was only drinking 1.5 liters. It might not seem like much, but those little things or those little wins over time, they're going to add up. And you're going to have this compound effect and you're going to reach those goals. We don't want perfection. We don't need perfection. We just need to keep progressing one step at a time. And last but not least, and this one's going to be very important, I want you to reframe the weekend mindset. I want you to tell yourself, or maybe realize, that weekends are part of the journey as well. We do the work Monday to Sunday, not just Monday to Friday, not just when we feel motivated, not just when things get easier. We do the work every single day, no matter what. It might not be perfect, and that's fine. But doing 50% of the work, it's going to be much better than doing absolutely nothing at all. So I really, really want you, and I need you to shift your perspective with this and tell yourself that weekends are part of the journey. Weekends also count. They are not your free pass to eat anything and everything that you didn't eat during the week. Weekends is just another day, another opportunity to keep making progress. Visualize your progress, not perfection. Remember, we're humans, we cannot be perfect. Once you have this balanced approach, it's going to be much easier for you to be more intentional with the choices you're making. And it's going to be much easier for you to, 1, make fitness part of your lifestyle. And 2, most importantly, have this long-term mindset. Have this long-term idea that weekends are part of the journey, and that every single day counts, and that we don't have to stress about the future. We only need to think about the present moment. Weekends are part of the journey. They're not an exception. So I want you to stop with that all or nothing mindset. I want to have everything. I'll get back on track on Monday mentality, because we know, you and I know that Mondays never happen. Don't tell yourself, I can't have this. I'm on a diet. I can't have this cake. I can't have this ice cream. I shouldn't be having this beer or whatever it is that you're having. Don't tell that to yourself, because when you follow those diet rules, you're giving those diet rules the power. And when you don't have the power, it's much easier to go off track. But when you have the control, it's much easier to stay on track, because the choices that you make are because you want to do those things. You're being the one deciding the things that you want to do. And that's exactly how things are going to get easier. I want you to prepare for potential challenges more mentally than physically. Like physically, I don't know how you can prepare for that, but mentally prepare for that. Life happens. Things might not be as you planned, and that's okay. Just don't stress so you can make better choices and overcome that setback of those challenges. And we want to build habits that are long lasting, not just habits that are going to last you 1 day, 2 days, and that's it. So remember, we don't want to have that. I will start fresh on Monday. I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want. We're going to reframe this, and we're going to tell ourselves for this weekend something like, I'm really going to enjoy this weekend because I can, because I want to. And I'm still going to feel proud of myself when Monday comes, because I want to make mindful decisions that I want to help me stay on track with my journey. Just imagine how proud you will feel when Monday comes and you were on track on the weekend. You were very mindful with the choices that you made. You were not perfect, but you did better than last time. And the choices that you made were better than last time. Like, how proud will you feel? Just imagine that. Like, just take 2 seconds and imagine what an amazing feeling that will be when Monday comes and you make those choices. It's all about those tiny steps. It's all about consistency over time. Action steps for this weekend that I want you to try. Number 1, I want you to write down just one thing that you're going to focus on right now, this present moment. We're not going to worry about the future. We're going to try to be more present and also set an intention for this weekend. And this one's going to be very important. Let's say for me, the intention for this weekend, I've got my dad's birthday. I've got a dinner on Friday night with my partner. And my intention is to enjoy the dinner with my partner, enjoy my dad's birthday, that I know there's going to be delicious food because my uncles are going to be cooking Peruvian food, and that's just very tasty and I love it. And I'm going to enjoy that. But I'm going to be mindful because I know my goals. I know the goals that I want to reach, and I want to take the right choices to help me get there. So remember, worrying about the future, it's only keeping you stuck with your fitness and with everything else in your life. But focusing on the present moment moves you forward. And that's exactly the thing that we want to do. So just a quick recap. Focusing about the weekends or focusing about the future is not serving you. It's not helping you at all. We don't want to do that anymore. We want to stay present, and we want to focus on the present moment. Anytime you find yourself stressing or worrying about the weekends, I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to plan, but don't overthink. I want you to focus on your wins, not perfection. And I want you to remind yourself that weekends are just part of the journey. Weekends do count as well. So set your intention for this weekend, and let's try to be a little bit more mindful this weekend, and we can keep trying again and again and again and again. Thank you guys for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it on your social media and tag me at Daniela del Carpio. Until next time, and as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao, ciao.